EA Sports, and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live third-round coverage of the International Challenge. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. Always a treat to be in Scotland, Frank, and at one of the oldest golf clubs in the world, Royal Troon.
It's getting close to 150 years old. It was first established all the way back in 1878. Actually, the original golf course only had 5 holes on it. But over the Open Championship roster, this has probably been the most successful, or provided the most success to American players. The last 6 Open Championship winners were all American.
Has one of the most famous holes in all of major championship golf, the 123-yard par 3 8th. It's known as the postage stamp, and one of the legends had a really nice moment there many years ago.
The late Gene Sarazen, the Squire, had a little ace there, all televised too, and it was a great way to remember his phenomenal career.
That's not how you picture it, Frank, when you step on that first tee.
No, you'd like to go back to that first tee right now and start again.
They'll take it. That's a par. Frank, they call this second hole Black Rock. They also call it the most heavily bunkered hole on the entire course. What do you have to do to stay away from it?
Well, it plays in the same direction as the first hole. So the prevailing breeze normally off the right. Some bunkers. And
just need to settle down, relax on this next shot after going out of bounds.
The amount of times somebody splits the fairway after hitting one out of bounds is...
Having gone OB. Good contact, good result. Frank, I'm thinking back to 1989 and the Open Championship. That was sort of our first chance to see the new playoff format at the Open.
That's right, Rich. In 1985, they decided to have a 4-hole playoff, and that had been changed too. In 1964, they went from a 36-hole playoff to an 18-hole playoff, and the reason why, my fellow countryman, Bob Charles, won in a 36-hole playoff in 1963. They realized 36 was too much. I think 4 holes right now is just perfect. In this situation, Rich, a bogey's not all that bad. Still has the lead.
Back to the tee box here on hole number 3, and there are a few club selection decisions that come into play on this first shot, Frank.
There is. The reason why, there's a burn that cuts through from the 16th hole all the way across the golf course through the middle of the 3rd. And that stops, or should I say starts, at about 285 yards. That really has to be at the forefront of your mind.
Nice long tee shot there and a good line, Frank. Chance to get it close here. Frank, the handicap system in golf really is the great equalizer, isn't it?
Yeah, there's no sport like it. I can't imagine going to Wimbledon and playing, sort of Djokovic or Federer, or playing NFL with Peyton Manning. But the beauty of golf, we can go out on the golf course. We decide what our handicaps are on the first tee. We decide who's going to get strokes, and then off you go and play. And you play on a level playing field.
Putting on a show, this tournament moves to 15 under par. We have already begun. Let's pick up with the action at hole number 4. Frank, this would be a good time to get it going. Made some pars to this point, but if you want to win, you have to make birdies.
Rich, I think the thought of winning has to be removed from one's psyche right now. You've just got to worry about what's in front of you. It just looks confused. Forgetting about playing the actual game itself. Winning happens by a series of good shots. Let's get back to the basics of playing golf.
Just a case of a hole shooting the player's eye. Made the birdie yesterday, and there's a good chance to make another one today. Settles in over the top. Just sensational golf, and he finishes it off with an eagle. Now to the par 3 fifth. Frank, what are you trying to do here?
Really, anything on this green is going to give you a birdie putt. So allow for the bounce and roll. Just avoid those 3 bunkers on the left and that short one right.
Close to the green and misses it badly to the right. So a tester from 4 feet. Well, that's why you build a big lead. You can afford to drop one or two.
It's hard to criticize a player for being sloppy when the lead is that big.
What a good hole. They call it the slopes. And the rough off the right-hand side of the green, really some of the most punishing on the entire course.
And the one thing you don't want to do is actually leave it up there on that high side, because it means that you'll be chipping downhill.
It's a good spot right there.
Center cut.
Frank, this is a way to make golf easy when you can hit it that deep.
Oh, I'm going to say, I know that first number's a 3. I'm guessing the second one's a 2. Let's call it 320. Now, this is not heading in the right direction.
It looks like it's going to be in the rough. With that ball nestled down just a bit in that heavy rough. This requires a lot of speed through the ball.
Well, from in trouble, Rich, at least he's back in play.
On the fairway from the rough. In the cup. What a shot. Can't get much better than that. Moving inland now, Frank, the par 4 7th hole. Do you even think about carrying those bunkers on the right?
Not really, Rich. You're trying to work that ball off the left side, because if you get caught up on the hills there on the right, then all of a sudden you can start making 5s, 6s, and all sorts of weird and wonderful numbers.
Frank, that ball's sitting up like it's on plush carpeting.
Rich, if you and I had lies like that every time, we'd still be playing this game for 11. This looks like it's going to find the target.
Terrific golf shot. And now that for an easy birdie. Birdie here yesterday, trying to do it again today. Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knocking him for a par, and let's forget about this one. Golf is not about perfect, but it's going to hurt the course.
Frank, here we are. All of 123 yards. It's a famous postage stamp hole.
It sits up there nice and proud. It's protected by 5 bunkers, but avoid the ones on the right. They're the deepest, all the way down on that right side.
Respectable shot right there. 20 feet or so from the hole. And it's a long way to the hole from here. Never easy. Great putt. And what happened here in 1973?
The old squire, Gene Sarazen himself, made an ace.
He was 71 years old playing his final Open.
Oh, if this is up, it's good.
Well, this looks good.
Certainly is.
Frank, this is just a pleasure to watch. A player hitting all cylinders, top of his game.
Notice it's just flowing too. There's not a lot of deep analysis going through his mind. Just one step in front of the other. If your swing's there, you don't have to find it. If your putting stroke's there, you don't have to find it. Just let it happen.
Not terrible, but not his best.
Outside chance really for birdie, but really it was a rather poor approach shot.
Looks like he just misread that. Getting set now over the putt. Workmanlike hole. He walks away with a par. Well, that was a nearly flawless performance on the front side, but Frank, we know it's an 18-hole game, isn't it?
That's right. Now's not the time to pat yourself on the back.
He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball, and this shot, he is on the fairway, over 300 yards. Appears to be what they call a commercial play, very solid. That would be a great look at birdie. Par yesterday, not for birdie. Good putt. Standing over the ball here at the par 4 11th. Frank, quite a hole.
The tee shot is so important here. This is one tee shot. If you miss, you will pay the price deeply.
That is a monster drive by 315 yards. The second shot now to the par 4. Chance for birdie after that beautiful shot. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Back here on the bonny shores of Scotland at Royal Troon Golf Club with just a wee breeze, as they say over here, Frank. On the tee at the 12th.
Yeah, hole that bends to the right, gorse right and left. There's a bit of a mound and rough down the right side. That has to be avoided.
That's a bit offline in the rough. And setting up here in the rough. Frank, you tip your Hogan visor to this player because early on it appeared as though this one was headed way off the tracks.
Well, it was. And to stop the round and turn it back, and now look like he's playing even better than ever. It took some doing.
So from the rough back to the fairway, that's the right way to go.
Yeah, didn't take the bait, and at least now he's only going to play the price of a poor tee shot. Still got a good chance, though, getting away with par.
Frank, not just a player, but an artist. Just beautiful work right there.
The only thing I can say, Rich, is that was Seve-esque.
Nothing wrong with that par putt. Frank, on paper, 13 seems pretty straightforward, but it's not that simple, is it?
No, very stringent tee shot. Gorse right and left, plus a little sort of mound with some rough on down the right side. So really, you've got to hit the ball down, not just the fairway, but the left side of the fairway.
Frank, he is one of the longest hitters in the game, but at some point, you have to hit a fairway.
Yeah, he's certainly not the straightest. I think that was the bit you're going to put in the middle.
Should be pretty good right there. On the safe side. Frank, not close, but from that line, not bad.
Oh, that's excellent. Seriously, given the conditions, Rich.
Now this for birdie. Came away with par in the previous round. Oh, hello there. Really nice putt. Frank, what kind of par 3 is the 14th here?
You can get sucked in here, just 180 yards, which isn't considered that long. But if you look too much at the front of the green, you're going to see that's where the protection is.
Not a huge miss, Frank, but did lose this just a little to the right.
Yeah, looks like it's going to catch a piece of the green, though.
Midway through this back 9, could use this birdie here at the 14th. This for another birdie on this hole on the week. Frank, now at the 15th, and how hard is this par 4?
The key really is to get the ball on the fairway here. Avoid those 3 bunkers, because this is one of the flattest greens on the golf course. Get the ball on the green here. Any putt's makeable.
Really good drive here, 320 yards, and straight. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is a difficult chance coming up here. Long birdie try. Well, that's all you want right there. Just lag it down. Don't get too crazy. And now just a tap in left. This one just requires a little bit of focus. Drops for a par. Now the lone par 5 on the back 9, the 16th, and while you might be thinking birdie here, you may want to think again. What are the options off the tee, Frank?
Well, really, there's only one option, and that's keep it short of that burn, which is 280 yards. So that makes that 540 yards. So that much longer.
Standing tee shot.
Yeah, ball sitting up. You don't have to worry about the wind or anything there. You just take a full-blooded cut at the second shot from here.
That was a big, bold strike, and now a chance for a big, bold move. Keep the eagle coming up. Speed wasn't bad on that long putt, but the read wasn't very good. Just a couple of feet. And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
Frank, now to the hole they call Rabbit, 222-yard par 3.
I don't know why it's called Rabbit, because this is certainly some tough par 3. Green sits up a little bit. There's a big roll-off on the left side, well bunkered. This takes a brilliant long iron shot just to keep it on the green. That's as bad a shot as I've seen for a long while.
Well, he'll be disappointed with that, no doubt.
Yeah, swing didn't quite look right on that one.
Frank, in golf, as we know, there's short grass and there's long grass. We all want to be in that short grass, but it doesn't always work out that way. So what's the most important element from the shot, from the rough?
You have to be a little bit more conservative first and foremost, because you can't guarantee a perfect strike out of the long grass. So therefore you have to look around the greens, maybe short, to the right, to the left, and realize what's involved. And also just give yourself a slightly bigger target.
Into the thick stuff, that's a difficult lie. Frank, you always talk about it. Don't compound the mistakes. Well, here we are, another shot from the rough.
And this one no easier than the one he's just hit.
How good was that, Frank, from the rough?
Oh, that's amazing. That's a master class in short game.
Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Time to regroup. That's a double bogey. Frank, the right fairway bunker ruined Greg Norman's chance at the 1989 Open Championship here at Royal Troon.
Yeah, pulled out driver, and there's one bunker down the right side. They had a perfect tee shot. What looked like it was perfect. Somehow it managed to run all the way down there and behind the lip. And of course, the rest is history. Safely on deck.
Nice play right there. That seemed pretty close. See if he can go one better than yesterday when he made par. This putt for birdie. Has it. Good putt right there. Frank, in golf, there's nothing quite like the final round of a hotly contested championship, and this one could be a doozy.
And there's nothing quite like that leaderboard I'm looking at right now. We are going to have some amazing golf. This one is going to have to be won.
EA Sports and the PGA Tour proudly present the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live final round coverage of the International Challenge. Well, this golf course goes back a long ways, to 1878, in fact. We're at Royal Troon Golf Club in Scotland. Rich Thorder alongside Frank Nobilo. And Frank, where are some of the scoring opportunities out here?
Well, normally when the Open Championships played, the breeze comes out of the sort of northwest, which means those first few holes are played down breeze, and then the closing stretch is played into the breeze. So really, you sort of make your hay on the way out, and then you hang on for dear life on the way in. And that doesn't really change because you have some rather short par fours to start.
In the thick stuff.
Thick? It's brittle out there.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. So missed the fairway, and now he's back where he needs to be.
Yeah, minimize the problems.
Settles in, looking to knock it in tight. Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. And just a superb shot.
You're not going to see much better than that all day today.
Just 5 feet left. Nothing wrong with that par putt. Frank, as we step to the tee here at the par 4 second hole, just 391 yards, but a classic case on links golf where the bunkering here is just so much different than a classic American layout.
And it's also where a change of strategy will certainly help. Remember, the ball's going to run much further here in Scotland than what it will in America. So you can use a shorter club and let that ball to run out to the normal distance you would hit it, perhaps with 2 or 3 clubs more.
Good drive here.
Another straight one.
Third shot, looking for a good one.
Repetitive is often sounds boring. This is just shot after shot, and it's anything other than that. Spectacular.
Locked in on the read and the speed.
Solid stroke there, no sign of nerves on that.
Back to the tee box here on hole number 3, and there are a few club selection decisions that come into play on this first shot, Frank.
There is. The reason why, there's a burn that cuts through from the 16th hole all the way across the golf course through the middle of the 3rd. And that stops, or should I say starts, at about 285 yards. That really has to be at the forefront of your mind. This is heading in the wrong direction.
Uh-oh. Just averted danger right there. So close.
What is he able to like?
Slight waggle, relaxed arms, ready to go. Frank, at this, the highest level of the game, the margins are so razor thin between winning and losing. It becomes about not wasting shots, and I think that's why players really enjoy stroke play.
I think you hit the nail on the head, Rich. That's why the best players, they want every shot to count. And the best format of golf that requires that is stroke play. In match play, you can get away with a big number. In stroke play, they want it to be a body of work. Every single shot adding to the score.
Every Everybody loves them. Birdie on the card.
Rich Lerner back with you at Royal Troon. Frank, first par 5 of the round. What's ahead?
The best opportunity for a birdie here is to take it over the bunker on the right. If you do that, you're going to get a little added roll and go in here even with perhaps a mid-iron or a long iron.